Good morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Filipe, and all the team for the invitation for this Blockspot here in Lisbon. It's nice and strange at the same time because it's the first time that I'm using a PowerPoint presentation, and the first time that I use it, it's just blocked. So yeah, something that should be understandable in this approach. About me, I connected myself to blockchain not for blockchain, in fact, but for Bitcoin. When the white paper was published, I used to be an hardcore gamer playing World of Warcraft, and we used to mine Bitcoins to trade them for World of Warcraft gold, because in that time World of Warcraft gold worth way much more money than euros or dollars, in fact. So I'm here also almost from the beginning, not completely involved with the blockchain scene. And in fact, my connection to blockchain started in 2015 when I started to realize that the world cannot be anarchist and the world cannot be completely libertarian. So during the last 3 years, and especially after my daughter born, my evolution as a human being started to think about what can we do more with blockchain, and what in fact crypto economy can have value to our society and to the whole mankind, not to a specific country, not to a specific ecosystem, but let's say worldwide. And one of the things that I was always connected in my profession and in my career was always to concentrate myself on products and not in technologies. So I'm not a software developer, I'm not a software engineer. My graduation is in philosophy with a post-graduation in neuromarketing. So I am the guy who works with the technology and build products in that. And I would like to give you just a quick background about history, about how some technology became a product for mass adoption. So this presentation will be completely focused in mass adoption products, not specific to one type of person, one type of public, but for everybody, let's say. And one of the first examples that I want to share with you, that probably all of you already know, is the beginning of the steam engine. Steam engine gave us the train, and if we would spend a lot of time thinking about steam engine, the steam engine stayed almost 40 years until someone create the train. So this is one of the first examples that I pick when we talk about something new, but something completely revolutionary. Also, another example is the combustion engine. So we needed Henry IV to create the first mass adoption car. And in fact, the engine itself was great, but even greater was the product that this engine could create. Another example is telegraphy. Without telegraphy, we would never have a phone. And in fact, telegraphy was a technology, but the phone was the product. The fourth one is Windows, of course, and there is always a few details that we can about history, but I just picked Windows because with Windows I have not my first computer. My first computer was a Timex 2048, but all my friends in school, the first computer that we have was this one, and this one used to use, I don't think it was the version 1.01, was in fact the 3.11, the first one, with the IBM computer with a 486 in fact in that time, and the screen was not with color, was just orange and black, monochromatic one. But without Windows in this way, nobody could enter in a mass adoption situation of a personal computer. And of course, probably for the technical guys, you all know what is TCP/IP, hypertext and DNS, but without this, we would never have internet. So technology is here and product is here. So what everybody in fact uses, nobody knows. I would say 90% of the people who uses internet, they don't know anything about these protocols, but they just use it. okay? And if we move forward, also, the same thing that just puts the facts out of the game, you know, SMTP, POP3s, and MX records helped to create email. So, in fact, everything when we talk about technology, we should sometimes focus, or most of the times we should focus, what type of product are we going to design with that technology. The same happens with iOS. There is statistics published last year that 86% of the owners of the product of this specific operating system, they don't know what is iOS, but everybody knows what is an iPhone. And the biggest knowledge that we can take from the creator of iPhone is exactly, he's not alive. And then one of the things that I would love to see is if Steve Jobs would be alive, what would he do with blockchain, you know? Because I followed Steve Jobs in almost everything he did, and I question myself almost every day, and I talk with my friends, my partners, and everybody about if he would be alive, what exactly he will do with blockchain technology. And yes, in fact, the immediately product that we have from blockchain technology working right now and completely implemented, like it or not, are cryptocurrencies and tokenization. But let's say that most of you don't like cryptocurrencies. What kind of product can we design with blockchain technology? Not a product or a use case for a specific corporate business, but a product using blockchain for mass adoption as all the others before. And if you ask me, right now, the only thing that I can find, I don't know. There is no answer. There is multiple use cases about blockchain technology, but nothing that can run completely in mass adoption mode, like phone, like internet, like email. So right now, we are all waiting for what will be the next big product for mass adoption with blockchain. And of course, I follow my gut. And I just took some important quotes from Steve Jobs. The first one is, there are three of my favorites, there are multiple of them. I don't know, maybe probably all of you follow Steve Jobs somehow, even the ones who like it and the ones who do not like it. But you just can't ask customers what they want and then try to give that to them. By the time you get it built, they'll want something new. The second thing is, it's really hard to design products by focus groups. A lot of times, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. And the third one, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do it. So, based on these three simple quotes, we can understand that the disruption was already completely inbuilt of Steve Jobs' mind. And by these words, I can also understand two types of words. The first one is the courage that you need to move forward and to provide something new to the customers, always thinking in mass adoption. And the second one is also to do not focus in a specific groups, but just take the advantage of the first mover. And exactly what I'm going to present you here today is a decentralized real economy based in blockchain. Decentralized real economy, and let me talk about this. Sometimes decentralization, in my opinion, is just understandable, or most of the people just talk about the first level or the first layer of decentralization, which is distribute and decentralize the data. But also, we can think about a product where we can also decentralize the product itself. So, the first layer is exactly to have a decentralized database that blockchain can provide, and also, in additional, to have a decentralized product. A decentralized product where we can apply it in multiple parts of the world, and users, customers, consumers can interact with that every single day in a mass adoption mode. The question is, what can we use to do that? Smart cities. And smart cities right now, of course, Internet of Things, IoT is a big buzzword, and I just got this little graphic to check exactly everything that in general is implemented in a smart city. And we have smart factoring, smart government, mobility Wi-Fi, smart digital citizens, open data, smart health, smart farming agriculture, smart buildings, smart grid energy and utilities, and smart transportation. Everything is smart. But who manages this? Who leads this in a decentralized way? My answer is quite simple. It's about making a fusion between something where the people is going to live in the future with a decentralized economy. So when we talk about smart cities, most of the projects, they don't implement a decentralized economy. Why? Because there is too much money to invest in a smart city and then lose the power or lose the control of managing it. But the next level, in my opinion, and I say it again, demands courage, demands risk. But the biggest investments you have done in Bitcoin or in any other investment in the world, you supported the risk. So let's say if you don't want to take the risk, your profit is not that big, your loss is not that big. If you want to take the risk, of course your profit can be higher and your risk is also higher. So most of the investors, they stay in the middle, or most of the entrepreneurs, they try also to stay in the middle or to take a bigger risk. So when I talk about the decentralized economy mixed up with smart cities, the first thing is, how are we going to set up this economy? What kind of economy are we thinking in? And my first thought was, we should get back in history and check how a currency and how the old Roman Empire used to govern the whole empire and the whole economy of the empire. And there was two things in that time that did not exactly exist. The first one were banks as we see them today. The second one is digital innovation. Romans did not have that. They had a lot of innovations, in fact, but not digital ones, you know. And the economic model, also known as tokenomics, but I think in the future this term will not be used that much. I think in the future one of the new professions will be a cryptoeconomist, for example, because we need them more and more and more every single day. My approach is quite simple. Very, very simple, in fact. We have a token. Let's call it token X. And we have, of course, every single transaction, we can call it consumption. So to buy something in a smart city with that token, of course, the word is consumption. But let's call it also transactions in the middle. But blockchain gives us a powerful tool to have the primitive economy done when the banks and the government work together for a public service. And in my opinion, for a good and strong economy, we should keep this rule. If the economy grows, we can produce more currency. If the economy decreases, the government or the banks should reduce the total supply. The problem in the last 30 years was that our economy, they are always printing more money and money and money and money. They are just printing more, and nobody reduces the circulating supply. My proposal is, not my proposal, the proposal of my team, let's see, because I did not do this alone. It would not be enough my knowledge to do this alone. It's a whole, it's more people involved, of course. But the idea is to have a token, we have consumption, and blockchain give us a tool to burn 100% of the whole coins. We burn everything. So every single consumption we have, we burn it immediately. And the question you will do immediately is, if we burn 100% of the coins used, how to get them back to avoid burn them all and pay operational expenses of the city, of course. And here comes where blockchain, even giving us a good tool to being able to burn everything, blockchain provides us a smart contract to manage the inflation rate. Inflation rate gives us the tool or the mathematical formula where if we have growth, the total supply should go up, and for example, if we burn 1,000 tokens, we can produce 1,100. And if the economy decreases, the total supply should go down, and we have a burn of 1,000 and we produce only 900. So we can manage the circulating supply just by the inflation rate, or if you want to call it the interest rate, is also a possibility. But I don't have time to go that much in technical things, but in the end, if you make any question, I can explain. So the concept is blockchain will manage everything automatically, completely transparent, and everything that works with this economy inside the smart city, in the future, in a whole state, in the future, in a whole country, in the future, in a whole role, because it's completely scalable. Of course, when we scale, there are small details that we must be involved, but you know, the primitive concept should be like this. I have a graphic here. I don't have the possibility to show the Excels about all the dimensions and everything, but we relate 4 different things. The first one, generated inflation. The second one, burn per year, proof of stake incentives, and real inflation. Real inflation, the concept that we found in a logistic rate was quite very simple. If we have a consumption under 50%, and let's call it in a general way the occupation of the smart city, if the occupation is under 50%, we burn more than what we produce. So we have a deflation economy. If we pass the 51% of occupation in the future consumption rate, we produce more coins up to 75%, and then the economy stabilizes. So at 75%, we have, you know, the top of our real inflation, which should be no more than 3.5, 3.6% a year. But for a good, strong economy, and what European Union Commissions tell us, is that more than 2% is not that good. So every single government should be controlled in Europe for at least 2%. So, in fact, with 100% of occupation of the smart city, let's call it a huge success of any smart city, we can immediately have an inflation rate between 0 and 2%. And now, you ask me, what is the blue line, what is the red line, and what is the yellow line? Quite simple. The blue line is a general inflation about every single, as long as the consume goes up, as long as more people is in the city, the immediately generated inflation grows up. And the red one is the burn per year. So as much people we have there, more tokens we will burn. And it's quite simple because it is a straight line. The yellow one, the proof of stake incentives, is something that I'm going to talk forward, because the economy should have some kind of stimulation for the outside people. Let's call it the people who hate technology, the people who do not want to visit any smart city, the people who is not interested in any type of, you know, IoT, AI, whatever technology, but they still feel attracted by, you know, the economy. Let's call them the classic economists, not traditional. Traditional sometimes is a bad word, so classic always stays well, and let's call them classic economists, okay? So we should design something also for the classic economists, and something that also follows the growth of the economy connected to the interest rate, of course. But I will explain this later. Now, one of the questions that we will immediately do is, what do we do with volatility? If we have a token inside the city that is the official token to do everything as an internal payment method, how do we control the volatility? And this was one of the things that with the Portuguese regulator, CMVM, was one of the biggest discussions when we talked about this. And we just, brainstormed a lot about how can we have a volatility control solution. And our approach was, once again, detailed, but the final conclusion very simple. Here's the problem. When you have an external exchange listing, you expose yourself to volatility. So, use case, Friday night one coffee can stay at 10 tokens, and Saturday morning you sleep, when wake up, the same coffee costs you 20 tokens or 5 tokens, depending if the coin goes up or down, or if you are victim of an attack of pump and dump, whatever, in your coin. So I'm just basing this speech in reality, what happens exactly. And if I want to build a smart city or a network worldwide of smart cities connected to the same blockchain based on the same token, I will face this problem, which is, how will my customer be satisfied when customer satisfaction is everything when we talk about a product for mass adoption? So the solution was this one. The city itself, the economy itself, has a cash flow where the internal exchange can help us to do one simple thing, which is the city smartphone app can activate automatically a stop loss option of 5%. 5% can be 2%, can be 10%, can be 6%, can be 3%. It depends on the business you are building. But let's put it like this. You enter in the city in a Friday night. You buy 1,000 euros, 1,000 tokens. In the app, you have a wallet where immediately you configure the stop loss. If the price of the token goes down at 5%, the city cash flow immediately buys back the token and gives you back the euros, so your loss is no more than 5%. Now you ask me, the consumer should be forced to do that? No, it's an option. So if the customer wants to really play the hardcore game of crypto economy, yes, he does not use the stop loss option. But for a mass adoption product, we must protect our customer. So protecting our customer, we give this option where the city cash flow supports the 5% loss. To move forward about the POS incentive, it's a big discussion about security tokens, utility tokens, what can we do with them, about regulation, about legislation, about a lot of things. But in the overall, all the regulators in Europe understand that for a proof of stake blockchain to work, need stakers and need stakeholders to stack their tokens. And if we give a guarantee of reward to any single stakeholder, we are moving ourselves immediately to a security token. But if we index this incentive to the consume, and understand this, consume is immediately connected to blockchain transactions, because as much consume we have, more transactions we have to register. If the city is completely empty, there is nothing to register because the economy is not moving, okay? We don't have volume. So the way we found to solve out this situation about having this yellow incentive here for stakeholders is with zero consume, the incentive is 0.007%, I mean electricity cost, okay? And with 100% of consume, incentive goes up to 5%. In the other side, if blockchain registers 0 transactions, with 0 consume, blockchain registers more transaction with more consume. So this yellow line here is the prediction of if we have 25% of occupation, it should stay around not even 2%. If we move to 51%, we will have a bit more than 2% a year. And if we go to 100%, we can achieve almost the 4 or 5%. To move forward, smart cities with blockchain governance. What are the advantages, in fact, for the user, the end user? First one, brand new concept of fintech tourism. As a marketing guy, you know, one of my worries is the product, we can sell it. What are the buzzwords? What type of new product can we put in the market that makes sense, you know, for the people? And when we talk so much about fintech, I think this hashtag fintech tourism makes sense. Also, immediate real use of a token. So we are not producing a token for nothing. We are using a token, in fact, for an immediate real use where you can get a house, where you can get your vacation, where you can use for everything, to eat, to drink, to enjoy the time with your friends and everything else. The same thing that you do here in Lisbon. If we would have Lisbon managed by blockchain with a token, everything you do right now with euros, you could do it exactly with that token. Cross-border solution. Remember, I was talking about a decentralized economy with decentralized places for everybody. So if we build the same city or the same concept all over the world with 10, 20, 30 places, the cross-border solution, if I have someone from Japan coming to Lisbon, or if I have someone from Argentina coming to Japan, people do not need to exchange their national currencies for the new currencies that they have to use. So you can take exactly that token with you and use it in every single day approach in every single part of the world, and it's quite easy to manage it. And of course, cashless worldwide, because you just take your wallet, you use it, and that's fine. You know, you don't need to take cash with you. Once also, it is full transparent, full auditable, smart contracts automated, traceable from everywhere, forever, and optimizes the facilities operation. I'm not going to talk that much about this optimization of the facilities operation, because every single facility in a smart city has a specific use case of blockchain, and the same blockchain can manage everything. But one of the things that is good, especially for the management, is to be traceable from everywhere forever, because you can connect to the blockchain. Let's imagine you decide to create 10 smart cities with this blockchain governance, and you decide to go to live in Antarctica. With internet, you can control everything. It's not control, but you can monitorize at least everything that is happening, especially with the economy, how much you have it per day, what is the volume, what is the transaction, what is the consumption, and everything is traceable from everywhere forever. Even if you try to delete it, you know, blockchain is immutable, you cannot do it. Also, this situation gives us probably the powerful tool to fight tax evasion. And why? Because with the blockchain connected directly to the tax authority, every single transaction you need to pay, and the owner needs to collect the VAT and then deliver it to the tax authority, using blockchain, it's completely fast, immediate, and we don't need middlemen in the middle to do our accounting, you know? So blockchain does the accounting, collects the VAT to a specific pool, and delivers to tax authority in a quite easy way. Also, if tax authority decides to audit the company, audit the city, the tax authority can immediately connect to the blockchain and check everything by themselves. So imparities is something, in Portugal we have a lot of imparities and a lot of business, you know, and using blockchain we can corner that and avoid that in a very fast and simple way. And because I'm the marketing guy, you know, it's the first blockchain where in fact Instagram matters, because you can take pictures all over the smart city And in fact, for me, a technology wins when nobody's talking about it and they just use it. So in fact, when you build a product like this one, you have Instagram matters, because every single user, every single customer, every single visitor, every single resident will have a real use application of the biggest social network in the world, bigger than Facebook. Ahead, and getting back to our thoughts, what type of product can we build with the blockchain technology, and what I am involved in fact building right now. All this study was like 1.5 years of thinking. You know, we don't know everything, so when I present this, probably you will have some valuable inputs for everything we are doing, and that's why we try to get so many advisors and people involved in the project. But I would present you Crypto Village. Crypto Village is the first all-in-one blockchain innovation hub, the very first worldwide crypto village with blockchain governance and a cryptocurrency for daily use. And in fact, it's a beautiful place here in Portugal, an old village that we've bought, 26 acres, already 20 houses built, 1 river, 6 waterfalls, and it is the place where we will prove this concept. If this makes sense, I will be dramatic rich. If it does not make sense, well, we will try to find out a way and have Steve Jobs as an inspiration. You know, you can visit the website in cryptovillage.eu. The project is already running, and in the last 1.5 years, as I told you, a lot of demanding was on this, and specifically to try to prove the concept of a decentralized economy to manage and improve mankind life. Thank you very much. You can check me on LinkedIn, Fred Antunes. Was a pleasure to be here. If you have any question, I'm totally available for you. Thank you very much. Any question? Just like 2 or 3, because we are really on time. Yes, yeah. Sure. So here. Yes.
So really interesting concept.
Yes.
And I must say, well, in parallel to the crypto discussion, you probably know there are some communities in Portugal already working in a self-sustainable manner without the cryptos involved. So people that come from other countries and they set up a space in Alentejo, for example, they have their own community. They're supposedly self-sustainable, and it really makes sense, this idea that you're discussing. So my question is in regards to the self-sustainable model itself. So let's imagine the crypto village, for example. Do you imagine that the crypto village has to be self-sustainable from the lives of the people that are living there? Everyone has to do some bread. Someone will take care of clothes and all that stuff. Do you think that the crypto village has to be self-sustainable from a social perspective in order for the crypto economy to be also successful?
I think there are 3 types of self-sustainability. The first one is the energy, the second one is the food, and the third one is the one that you asked me, the social way. The social way, my answer is immediately no, because the crypto village should be completely open to everybody to visit, and we should not be closed to a specific community who plays, you know, just straight rules and straight ideas. So if we want blockchain and crypto economy to have mass adoption, we must be open-minded to receive every single person, and specifically children. So if you ask me for crypto village, children are really my goal, because children and families are the ones who support a business. That's the point in the future, in the long road. About the energy and about the food, energy should be supported, yes. As much as we can have auto-sustainability, that is the best option. But in our use case, for example, it's very specific, because in the summer we have a lot of sun. In the winter we don't have sun. But since we have a river, in the winter we have a lot of water, and in the summer we don't have water. So what we are designing is a way to explore the topography of the place, studying which is what is the best place to put the solar panels, and what is the best way to explore the topography of the valley to produce electricity from water pumps. So in terms of energy is my biggest concern. All the others are not. The place should be completely, trendy, fashion for everybody to visit, and it should not be a closed economy in any way.
So the concern about energy is that if you don't have enough sustainability from an energy point of view, then you will have to exchange your tokens for some other fiat currency outside.
No, one of the things that maybe was not clear for everybody, all the prices inside the crypto village, okay, now I got you, I think. All the prices inside the crypto village must be in euros. And the token is just the internal payment option. If you decide to go everything in the token, and if you decide to put the prices of everything in the token, for the first approach, it is incorrect, because you will have a problem of import-export, okay? Commercial trading for outside. So the first approach must be completely euros. One coffee is €1. One night is 25 euros, whatever, and you pay with the internal token. The second approach, after we prove the concept, then you can change it. But I have a lot of reservations on that for the next 5 years, in fact, because we need crypto payments to rise up a lot to make that possible. That's my point. There?
There's another question?
Yeah, 1 and 2.
Okay.
At least just 2 more.
Well, just 2 because
Okay.
we're really,
In a very
really
fast
short
way.
time.
Yes.
Congratulations, Fred. It was very interesting presentation. So my question is POS.
Mm-hmm.
How may I share the risk? You presented a yellow line,
Mm-hmm.
completely linear,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the same concept of reinsurance. I'm diluting the risk. I'm giving incentive during the proportion that everybody is
Mm-hmm.
helping the system.
Yes, take the stake incentive as a something, not a technical incentive, but more as a benefit that you take from stake your tokens, because staking your tokens give us 2 things, and that's why we've built it like this. So I'm a miner, so for me, stake something. With proof of stake, I don't have machines connected, but I have the coins connected. So in my idea, it's almost the same. One does not have electricity cost. The other one, it's more digital and just do the stake. But to answer you in a very quick way, the stake incentive provides us 2 things. The first one is we can control the circulating supply, because if you stake the tokens are not circulating. And if they are not circulating, the circulating coins are less, okay? And we can protect the economy if we have a lot of stakeholders. The second one is because if you stake your coins, you want to achieve the 5% of benefit, of course. And one of the few things that we just need to make Crypto Village a huge success is to have the stakeholders sharing and promoting Crypto Village worldwide. So if you stake, let's say, 500,000 or 100,000, making a share on a LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram about Crypto Village is quite easy, And if you do that, you are just giving a huge help promoting the project. So you are not promoting the project for free. You are in fact promoting the project because you have something that you will get back, Yeah, exactly. You are promoting your own stake. Yes. So when we designed, we thought about this.
Okay, last question.
Last question. Yes. No. He was there first.
Oh, he was
I'm sorry.
No,
But we can talk after outside.
Okay.
Yes. I have hours of brainstorming about this. Probably most of the things I already have answers, not somehow not the best possible answers, but because I'm a very, very confident guy, but also very humble at the same time. So I trust what I think, and I trust my team, but we don't know everything. So yes.
Thanks,
please.
Fred. Very cool presentation. Just a comment on your economic model.
Mm-hmm.
So the assumption is that if the consumption is low, you're going to burn tokens, the token you're using for the smart cities.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume that means you have a huge treasury, but I'm also noting that it turns into a deflationary model if you're burning tokens. And in a deflationary model, it leads to people hoarding the currency because the currency gets more value
Mm-hmm.
because there's going to be less of it. And I would assume then that the treasury is going to run out of tokens. I don't know if you have any comments on this or...
Yes, I did not have time, to present the whole economics, but the Villa cash flow should stay at 5 million. And 5 million with deflection, with 2% of occupation, will give us at least 5 years of existence, But getting your words, if the token gets value, it's perfect, because we also have a pool with our own tokens which will compensate the deflection loss. Okay, so in one way the tokens had value, and if they have value, we have more consumption power for import stuff and to pay operational expenses, of course. So in a deflection economy, which is what I think it's the most correct economy in the world, it's perfect, because if we raise the value of the token against euro or against dollar, the whole project is a success, So you are exactly saying what I want is to add value to the coin,
In a deflation model, though, there might not be so much economic activity going on in the city because people are seeing, okay, this token is getting more and more valuable. So
Yes.
why would I spend it on coffees in the crypto village?
It's what we It's why we don't use Bitcoin right now, right?
Exactly.
So nobody wants to lose Bitcoin because we think that it will have value. Yeah, it's a good question, but I think the human experience that you can have with Crypto Village will worth you to spend the tokens. And also because if you don't want to hold them, you can sell them immediately and you can buy them back exactly when you want. So the user experience of a token, it's a bit different from what we have right now, because in this situation you have a physical place to connect yourself, and that connection, that human connection, in my opinion, is everything to increase the people who should visit and who should stay in a crypto village all over the world.
Okay, cool.
Yes, thank you very much. I would love to answer more questions, but we can talk after.
Thanks.
Okay? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Fred.